Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Polybridge. I've got some cool stuff planned for this episode today. Just want to start off by saying if you enjoy these videos, as always, please do leave a like down below. The support is appreciated, and I have been playing in between recording and I got a couple of solutions to show you. So this level right here is called Advanced Hammer Bridge. It looked interesting. You can see just a single anchor point, and it turned out to be a kind of a strange solution, as you can see here. You just roll the car off down below, and there you go, we've done it. Now, I kind of wish this game had some stricter rules about how you complete the levels. Like, maybe the car has to be upright when it lands, because I think it literally lands on the hood of the car. As you can see here, bam, that's not the way a bridge normally works, but there you go. It's Polybridge, whatever. That was a bit of fun, and we done that one with under 8,000 as well, so I aim to do that with the smallest budget possible, so that was pretty cool. And if we go back to the main menu and into the Steam workshop, there is another level that I completed as well. I think it's this one right here, Dip and Draw, which is supposed to be of medium difficulty. I'd say it was relatively challenging. If we load my solution over here, I've called it Good Solution, and you can see well under budget at 21,300 odd. And the idea here, it originally started off with more of these, I was going to say suspension, that's not the right word, hydraulics, there we go, that's the right word. Yeah, I had some here and then some that sort of pulled these ones open a little bit, so these raised up a lot more, but after a while I realised you only need to go up like a little gap here, so let's check this thing out. Also, the bridge doesn't collide with the balloon in the middle when you move it, which I think is kind of a drawback really. It could have been a bit more challenging if that wasn't the case, but there you go, it rises all the way up. And it almost looks like it's drivable at this point, but I don't know, the car would probably collide with the balloon. Anyway, it goes back down again, and then the second car can come across. Now, it's not quite as stable the second time it goes over. Also, it'd be really nice if we had the stress on as well. Yeah, much prefer the view of the stress. It seems to turn itself off every time I play. Anyway, they're the two levels that I played. They were a lot of fun. And now what we're going to go and do is go into the Sandbox Mode and create our own level. So I've got an idea in mind, and it might take a while to prepare. So let's just say we throw down an anchor point at either end. And I'm going to use a fair amount of anchor points here, because I've got a pretty good idea of what it is I want to do. So we might have anchor points up here and maybe even one there. That doesn't quite look right. I think it needs to be a bit more of a square shape. It's also going to take me a lot of back and forth to put these in the correct position. However, I just thought of a way that we might make that easier for ourselves. Anyway, we're going to switch into build mode. So the idea that I have is that we're going to have a ramp and a car coming down it, if that's necessary of course, and we're going to make a loop-the-loop, and it's going to have a loop-the-loop inside of it. So we're going to go round the loop again and again, so we sort of spiral into the middle, and then I want to have a gap and have an exit, so when it comes to the middle it flies out and goes all the way over to the other side. So it's like a triple loop with an exit through as well, which will be rather challenging, I imagine, but I'm in the mood for a challenge. So I think the way that we should get started is with some steel. I think that we need to create a grid, and the type of grid we want to create will be one with some diagonals. It's going to take a little bit to figure out actually. Where's the best diagonal? Actually, maybe not. Maybe that right there. Is that a perfect square? It kind of looks like it is. So rather than have an anchor point in the middle here, that's literally just what I want to do. I want to make a square like that, and then we're going to copy it and paste it, and then of course we're going to copy that and paste it next to itself. So now we're starting to create a pretty big... Wait, what did I just do? I just messed that up. Let's copy, let's paste, there we go, and just repeat this over and over again. So what we'll then do is probably drag the anchor points closer to it or onto it. I shouldn't have put them all down straight away really, and make a big old grid. Now when it comes to the roads, what we're going to do is remove the grid and then build the road through this big structure that's hooked up to our anchor points. So we'll sort of go... Oh wow, this might actually be a little bit tricky because it doesn't like being next to all these supports, does it? I've also got to think about how this is going to work, because I want it to go across a fairway before the loop starts. Maybe that's how we'll do it. We'll just have this sort of platform like so, and then the loop starts a little bit further on. That's actually going to make it quite challenging having this big grid. But that's part of the fun as well. So you've seen the idea there. Of course we can sort of adapt the grid a little bit. What I need to do right now though is get rid of this anchor point and then put in the grid, you know, put all the anchor points in the correct position and get this thing ready to go. So here we go, anchor points all over the place. We got our ramp, which we could make bigger, and we got our sports car, which we can set to 500. Not sure if that's actually a good idea or not. And it got me thinking though, you can sort of leave this thing in the air. Maybe when we do another one of our own little custom levels, we do some sort of challenge where maybe the cars start in mid-air and you've got to build up a platform for them. I don't know. Feels like there's something interesting that could happen there. Anyway, if we switch to build mode, yes, then you can see all of that, and then we can start the simulation. So this thing, yeah, it's going to go off like a rocket. I reckon this could work. Also, is it me? Although this is a square, it kind of feels like it's too tall, but it's actually the same size. Maybe this thing right here is slightly higher than it is. Oh, look at that. I think it is, you know. There's a line directly in the middle here, but not there. So it is actually slightly taller than it is going across, which makes sense because it feels like that when you look at it. Well, there you go. So I made a slight mistake. I don't think we're going to worry about that too much. However, it does mean our loop doesn't need to go all the way to the top. And is this enough for, you know, a triple loop? I really don't think so. I've got this feeling like, no, maybe we should make things a little bit bigger here and give ourselves some more space. Okay, this will do. The grid is bigger. It's actually square. You can see I've opted for a bigger size as well. I don't think it's structurally sound, but it gives us more space to build the road around, and I lowered it all down a little bit, so it looks pretty good now. And basically what we can do is start the road from somewhere around here. If it would let us place... Do you know what? We've got to play with the grid off now, and then we've got to start our curve. This is going to be like really odd to do. I didn't want to place that there. I wanted to get the zoom just about right. Let's drag this so we can see the entire square. And we sort of want to go flat and start arcing a little bit later on, don't we? So let's say we put in a few pieces like that, then we start to... See, I feel like we've come up too much already, too early. Oh, this is going to be hell, isn't it? To get it to go the way we want to. There's going to be so much adjusting, it's going to be unreal. See, we've already got to start avoiding these little points, which we can move around. We don't have to keep this like exact perfect grid going, but it's definitely proving to be tough. So maybe there we just sort of come underneath it. We'll go as close as we can. And I tell you what, I feel like I haven't given myself enough room here. We have come across too much. This is probably going to take like several attempts over and over again. I was hoping that we could just quickly make all the circles, and then I could be like, there you go, let's now connect it all up and see what happens, and do that bit off camera. But I think what we'll do is give this one more attempt. One more. So we've got to sort of look ahead a little bit. So we've got that coming up. So let's sort of just be a little bit under it. And already... No. Okay, I think the best way to do this is for me to put in all the roads first. So I've been playing this and I've been thinking this is never going to work, and one thing that I did do that made a huge difference was reduce the speed of this car to 320%, I think. But you can see what we've gone for here. Like, I'm not trying to make anything elegant or pretty, just throwing in tons and tons of steel support, and with this much, you know, you really do hold the road in place, and it's just about the speed of the car. So let's have a watch of this. It's really impressive. The car goes all the way around. Yes, and then it goes around again. And notice that my road is actually like quite... Oh, that's interesting that that bit there broke. You see, I'm making slight little adjustments as we go along. And there was one over here that was breaking and one over there. So I fixed that one. And then I just made some tweaks to this one over here. And now the one over there breaks in return, which is odd. And the other thing that I'm worried about is where is our little ramp where this thing is going to fly out? Because if we choose to do it just there, you'll see that it probably won't make it. I think the best place to remove the roads would be as it's maybe when it goes directly straight. So just here would be our like exit point. Let's see if we can get away with not having that road there. Bam, let's delete that and see what happens, because I completely forgot about the exit. Almost-ish, sort of. We can't move that anchor point, which is kind of annoying. So let's say we put that one back. We need to make the angle here a little bit steeper and that one a little bit more accommodating, and then perhaps remove that one. Start the simulation. So we've got a gap right there for our exit. Wow, okay, yeah, I guess that kind of happens then. So now there's a little problem over on this side. We're going to be forever just tweaking stuff over and over again, I foresee. Apparently I can't move that. Why? It's probably the distance, because I'm trying to go away. Yeah, this is going to be tricky stuff. Just maybe even like slightly tweaking one or two things, or adding extra steel might help as well. Like, what if we add in some supports like that? Anyway, it's going to be more trial and error for me. That's cool. I like that. Oh, and it survived. And now we need to make another little exit bit right there. But this thing could do more than 3. You could probably do loads and loads. And one of the things I love, by the way, is this little bit down here where it's really close together, and just having the grid repeat over and over again. I think you don't even need as much of these other steel beams around it as we have. Anyway, I'm going to continue on improving on this thing. So you guys can tell me with a comment down below, is this really that great? It kind of feels like, with the amount of ridiculous steel that we've got everywhere, that it kind of loses its elegance. And let's slow down the speed as well, because this thing now works. It occasionally breaks in different places, which, you know what, I'm not bothered about. But anyway, let's check it out. So it goes up, it goes over, and it falls back down again, and then it goes through another circle, and then another one, and then it makes its way out. And in order to actually complete the level, I've moved the land up all the way here. That isn't as glamorous as I thought it was going to be. However, we have kind of learned a fair bit about doing this, so maybe if I come back to that concept again, we'll make something that's a lot more prettier to look at, maybe? I don't know. Either way, that was definitely fun to do, and I think we should go and do like a challenge for the end of this video. Another level, yeah. Okay, how about this one? Trapdoors, expert difficulty, 70,000 budget, and there's no hydraulics. And they all appear to go at the exact same time, so that's fine, because I think I kind of understand how this one works. The first one is going to be a road going all the way across, because A1 goes to A1, as does A2 to A2, as does A3 to A3. Right, now the second bit, this actually got on a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but I think I can figure this out. We might actually need to reconfigure the roads, so rather than going straight into building this, which is what I thought we might be doing, we're going to assess the situation a little bit. So considering this side has more anchor points, I think it would be better that we build some trapdoors, as the name suggests up here. Trapdoors, the name of the level. I reckon this is how you're supposed to do it. You're going to need maybe a point like that anchored, and then another point there that just flops down. So this one goes through, and it literally just... In fact, the place to put that might actually be back a little bit, because we could connect this first one to both anchor points, and then the second bit can go right there. So this one's going to drive along, go underneath that point, which will connect with some materials, and then it's going to kick up the flap, and it's going to fall back down again. I'm hoping, though, it will position itself on that road. So let's build a bit of support here. Nothing terribly complicated, just something that allows us to test that out. Ha, it didn't. That's kind of worrying. Maybe we need something else connected to it. Right, well that's going to kick it up, but then, yeah, that little flap's just going to fall down again. So if we use the material... Yeah, this isn't going to do anything. I mean, maybe cables? Oh, cables from above. How about that? Okay, so let's try and delete just the wood there. So let's say we just bring this up. Quick basic demonstration, basically. Cable like that. Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. Okay, so the next part of the puzzle is what happens to the cars that want to go up from, like, with a rope above them, because we've seen what happens when there's nothing above. This thing just falls down, it gets pushed up, and then the car will go up and over. But if there's a road above, then there needs to be like a flap here. So this doesn't work because these don't fall onto the structure that's there. It does at the bottom if you look, but they just fall down otherwise. So we need the same thing again, and I think that means that we need something maybe over in the middle a little bit more. So I need to devise some sort of system where we have this bit held up by a cable and then that bit held up by a cable. Maybe something like that even. Problem here is there's going to be no hydraulic phase to run a split joint, and this is why I think we've got to put it in the middle, because we kind of want it to be level. Let's have a look. Alright, that actually appears to work, so maybe we'll put it here at the front. Okay, let's try something with that. So that to me looks like a system that might work. The slope here might not be quite right, but if we just play it out in our minds, car goes across, this pushes up and falls back down to that position. So that's for all three, they go to the other side, that's good. Then we've got three cars coming across. Oh, they're going to meet each other on the way. Oh. The whole time I've been developing this, I haven't really thought about the order of events. It all happens at the same time, which means the place to put this might just be in the middle, because they need to meet. Oh, I don't even know now. This is so tricky. Well, anyway, they would have gone across, then the other ones would have come back and gone up a level, but they all happen at the same time. So in the process of copy-pasting this into the middle, it seems that these got pushed out a little bit, so they're further away from those joints, although that might be because they were anchor joints before. And I got the event order completely wrong. If you look at this right here, there's room for them to go underneath and then the second ones go, which is really annoying. I've just got to move that all back. But thanks to the copy-paste tool, this didn't take too long to set up. And as you can see, it doesn't even work, so kind of back to square one again. Okay, I think we have our solution. This bridge didn't quite work, so I went back to the drawing board, and by lowering this bit here and putting that underneath there, it means that the road sort of overlaps and these can just about push that up. That's really awesome, that little contraption right there. And then these three can go across to the other side. Oh, they fall down a little bit. The bridge holds up really well. And not quite, so we've got to sort out the ramp. But I'm also thinking about like pulling down the budget a little bit here as well, because we've used a lot of steel, and as you can see, this shape seems to be pretty good, so we can probably remove some of these bits. I was going to tweak the budget on this one, but after hours of well, not hours, but a long time trying to figure this one out, eventually what I had to do was just very finely position these bits right here. And you can see the top one's fine, but these ones needed a little bit of slack and for that slope to be there. So it's just going to drop slightly down onto the road as opposed to being under it. Also, let's set the speed to 100 and then watch this thing in action. So they go across, they drop down. You can see this one's underneath, but these ones right here just very slightly above the road. But that's enough to make it work. And then when they come back across, it works as intended. I tell you what, I have thoroughly enjoyed this one. That was really challenging. Gonna look for more of this chap's levels. The guy who puts the little, what do you call that? The horse piece on a chessboard in front of his level name. So there you go. That was it for this video. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. And of course, leave some suggestions if you've got any more ideas for what we can do in the sandbox mode. But anyway, that's it from me this episode, so thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.